Hey guys, thanks for joining me in today's video where I'm going to be doing a full face of makeup using a lot of new releases from 2022. Since I did go a long period without filming, I wanted to make up for not only that time, but on those products that I did test out during that time that I have yet to share with you guys. So I'm going to demo a lot of these products, mainly with the purpose to share my thoughts and opinions with you guys. These are definitely products that I think are worth talking about, and there might actually be another video similar to this coming up fairly soon. Another reason why I want to get these out of the way is because I do want to do a overview of the 2022 makeup releases for the first half of the year. So that video I'm planning on filming and uploading mid to late June. And that's really, because I do have quite a bit of products to talk about, it's really just going to be an overview, a real quick mini review on each product. So before I did that, I did want to take my time and demonstrate these products in action with you guys. So if you have any questions on any of the products that I use today, I'm sorry if you hear my dog walking around. If you have any questions on any of the products that I use today, please make sure to comment down below. And before I get into the tutorial, I am going to ask you guys to give me a thumbs up because it really does help out my channel quite a bit. So I would appreciate it very much. Hit that like button, subscribe if you have not yet, and let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. Okay, so first I'm going to go ahead and prime my face, and today I'm going to use the Dynasomyrix blurring balm powder. This I actually talked in more detail on my last video. This is the shade 4, and I mentioned that you can use this as a primer or a standalone. I love how it looks as a standalone, but because I do have an oily T-zone, it's not as bad as they used to be, but I still do get quite oily. I thought I would use this in conjunction with today's foundation because that foundation has kind of a glowy natural finish. So just to avoid any oils from seeping through, I know that this primer will help with that. And I love this because it adds a little bit of coverage while smoothing the appearance of my pores, of my texture. And I have tried it with other foundations over top, and I do believe that it works really well as a primer too. So I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys. And I'm really only going to apply this here in the center of my face where I do need it some more. I'm with the foundation from Charlotte Tilbury. I'm only going to use 1 drop of this. I do find that less works best when it comes with this foundation. Sometimes I do go in with 1.5 pumps, but 1 pump is fine. And you can see that it is quite runny. So I do like to apply runnier foundations with a brush. I just find that it provides the most coverage that way. Otherwise, if I use a sponge, it's really going to shear it out. On its own, I will say that this gives like a medium coverage, which I've been very happy with lately. Using my Rare Beauty foundation brush, I'm going to go ahead and put this on. As I mentioned earlier, this one does have a natural glowy finish, and I do enjoy that because it looks like my skin is just healthy. It is not heavy, but again, because I don't over apply, so you do have to be careful with foundations like this, especially if you're somebody that has an oily T-zone or just oily skin in general and you're interested in a product like this. You don't want to over apply because then the oils are going to make it look even heavier. Okay, so here's a close-up. I just applied some on this side onto my chin and my nose there. And as you can see, it looks really natural. I think the skin looks healthy. And on me, it actually stays looking like this all day long. There does come a point where I feel like the appearance of it actually improves a little bit. Really guys, I have nothing bad to say about this foundation at all. I had hesitated to buy it, which is actually funny because most of the foundations that I did end up buying so far this year, I was not originally super interested in. But after seeing other people use them, just doing some more research on them myself, I became more and more intrigued. So this was definitely one of them. Though I did get it shortly after it released. It was maybe a few weeks after. But I just could not stop thinking about this foundation. And it got to a point where I just wanted to try it out for myself. And I'm so happy that I did. Really, this is one that I used a lot when I first got it. I think based off of the tube, you can kind of tell how much damage I did to this foundation. it is all I reached for maybe the first, at least for the first 6 weeks that I had it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just, I still have some product here, not too much, but enough where I'm gonna pick it up with my brush and just kind of stipple it in where I need a little bit more coverage. Okay, so that is how we're looking. And it does seem to be performing really nicely with that Dynasamyrix Balming Powder. The concealer, I actually don't have a new one that I haven't shown. I guess my newest one is the Backstage Concealer from Dior, but I recently used that one and I have not used the shade Illuminate from Tom Ford in what feels like forever at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply some of this real quick. So now I'm going to go ahead and set my face using the Rare Beauty Loose Powder. I picked up the shade Light, and this one works wonderfully for me as far as shade goes. This has like this little shifter where you can open it up so it doesn't make a mess on your cap here, and you can dispense however much you need. So this one does have a little bit of a pink tone. I'm not sure if you guys will really be able to see it on camera. It gets difficult sometimes to show details like that with the lights and everything, so I do apologize. So far, I've enjoyed this powder. Is it my absolute favorite? It's not, and especially not for the under eyes, though today I'm going to apply it with a brush to set my concealer and then dust it around my face to set the foundation as well. This has a very soft radiance to it, so it does have those micro shimmers, which allows for your skin to look a little bit more healthier, a little bit more glowy throughout the day. Not something that I mind at all, but usually finishes like that I prefer around my face, not so much in the center. I'm trying to smooth out fine lines around my eyes or my pores or the texture that I have. I always prefer the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder. That's just my all-time favorite loose powder. I've also been liking the Wayne Goss Weightless Powder. That is wonderful. This one I like, again, just to kind of add a little bit of a luminosity around the face. And when I say a little bit, I mean I really truly mean like a natural type of luminosity where the skin just is allowed to look its best self almost. And also another reason why I'm not too crazy with this one on the T-zone is because I don't find that it helps with the longevity of my makeup like other loose powders I own do. I'm sure it has to do with the fact that I do not like this one piled on the way I like the others. With the others, I usually go in with a sponge. I dip it into my loose powder and just pack it on, and I continue packing it in until all of the powder is worked into my skin. Whereas with this one, I do not do that. Again, because of the type of finish that it has, it's just not going to do my texture, my pores, my fine lines any favors, so I try to avoid that. I don't regret buying this, I just have to use this in a very specific way. And even with this foundation that I'm using today, although it has somewhat of a glowy finish, I mean it's not like a dewy finish, which for me works better actually. I think this powder flatters that foundation quite nicely. I have been using this one too for quite some time. I mean ever since it released. I bought this I think the day it released, so you guys, I've had this for a while and I've used it with several products including this foundation, and they work really beautifully together. I went ahead and brought you guys closer so you can get a better look at how the complexion is looking so far. So like I said, that foundation provides like a medium coverage, which you can pretty much tell with my blemishes there. They're definitely not showing as much as they did earlier, but they're not fully covered, which again, for a day-to-day, I feel like I've mentioned this before, I'm not quite looking for full coverage. I'm not looking to mask my face, so I'm fine with a little bit of my imperfections showing. Overall, I just don't think that it looks heavy. It does have more of that natural finish, which I do like. So NARS has re-released their bronzing cream, which they originally came out with about a year or two ago, and now that they've re-released this launch, everybody is going crazy for it, and let me tell you guys, it is for a reason. I remember talking about this, sharing how obsessed I was with the formula, with the color. Literally everything about this cream bronzer is wonderful. So the shade I bought was Laguna. This time around they have 5 different shades of Laguna, so I know the formula is the same. I just don't know which one this one's maybe more comparable with. Perhaps Laguna 2, I would say. I'm not sure, it could be 1 or 2. But this is a wonderful shade for me. It works beautifully. It's got a neutral undertone, which is wonderful because it can both warm up the skin, so help bronze it up, and it can also sculpt. So I use it kind of as a hybrid. It's just wonderful. It is super creamy. It is very pigmented, but also very easy to blend, and it stays on your face all day long. I'm gonna apply this with my Scott Barnes number 65 brush, and I'm just gonna tap in there a few times. And okay, let me use a closer mirror. And you can see super pigmented, but it blends very nicely. So I'm actually gonna spread this out. And this has almost like a coconutty scent, so it does make you feel like you're out on vacation. Oh my gosh, I want a vacation so bad. Right now is not the time, but I wish we can go on vacation. So in the meantime, I'll just pretend with all these bronzers that I have. I'm also actually waiting on the new Balm Bronzer. I'm not sure exactly the name of it, but from Makeup from Mario, I got the Rose Ink one, and then also the new shade from Chanel. So we have a lot to talk about as far as bronzers. Once I get all of that in, I will, hopefully within the next few weeks, do my bronzer collection video and then kind of rank them from there. I'm super excited. This one is definitely going to, well, obviously it's a cream bronzer, so it's definitely going to make it into that video, but I will tell you right now, it's gonna make it on the top portion of my list because it's wonderful. Now, what I don't know is if this re-release is also limited edition or if it's not gonna be a part of their permanent line. What do you guys do with flyaways? I just can't. Like, I don't want to put gel on freshly washed hair, but I sometimes feel like I just have to because I always have so many flyaways. So that is how that is looking. I am going to build it up. This builds up very nicely, and it doesn't stay like super tacky on the skin. It's also not really going to transfer, so you don't really see fingerprints there. So I'm actually focused more right here. And then blend it upwards just to give a little bit of that structure to my face. Yeah, so maybe I should go into the store just to see what shade this one compares with the most. Maybe it's the same as one of the shades that came out, but yeah, I'm really not sure. I don't plan on picking up another shade just because this one works perfectly well for me. Now I'm gonna move on to the eyes. So we're gonna prime first. You guys know my Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Eye Primer. Now for what might be the palette of the year is the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions 2 eyeshadow palette. This is gorgeous. I loved the original. That one came out last year, and this year he came out with this rosy toned palette. Honestly, I thought it was going to be a little bit more rosy than what it is, but still, these shades are really gorgeous. I love how they work together and how you also have the ability to just use even 2 at a time, because these shimmer metallic shades here correspond really well with the matte shades beneath them, and of course you can always mix and match. This palette is super versatile. You can go from day to night, which means a very simple look into a beautiful, bolder, more metallic, more intense look. Love it. These cream shades also very versatile on their own because you can use them to prime your eyes, you can use them to add depthness, you can use them as single eyeshadows as well as eyeliners. I mean, really, they do it all. So you get cream shades, you get shimmers, you get mattes, and then it's also full of different tones. So we have warm, cool, and neutral tones in here. Like I said, super, super versatile. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply these shadows onto my eyes. The creams I think I'm just gonna use as eyeliner today or as a base for the shimmers. And also, before I actually do get started, I did want to point out that there's quite a bit of kick up when it comes to these matte shades, but it's because the formula is really soft and they're super pigmented yet very blendable. So usually in order for us to really get a good impact from an eyeshadow, there is going to be some kick up. I don't really feel like there's a lot of fallout with these as long as you tap off your brush before you start applying it onto your eyes. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I don't mind the kick up, but I am just letting you guys know.
You told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away. I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long.
My camera shut off, but I did also go in with the lightest shade of the mattes. This one here, a little bit in my inner corner as well as the brow bone. But this is how the eyeshadow looks using the Major Dimensions 2 palette. I know a lot of people have been using those shimmers all over the lids, so I really wanted to show how beautifully the mattes show, as well as those cream products. And you get to see a little bit of the shimmer here, but truly, as far as the shimmers, pretty much what you see on the pan, and if you apply it with your finger, like really pack it on, is what you're gonna get on the lid. So it is just one of my favorite purchases of this year. I did also go ahead and apply some mascara. I used the YSL Lash Clash mascara, so that is wonderful. I'm not sure if this one came out early this year or super late last year, but it's been nice. I've actually had it now for quite some time, so I might need to replace it soon. So one thing I am going to say is I'm not very happy with how my T-zone is looking right now. I don't expect it to get much worse, but really using this powder on the T-zone just doesn't work that well for me. As I mentioned, I prefer it kind of on the perimeters of my face. It's really nice to do like that buffing technique, but avoiding this or having a different setting powder really packed on this area, then I can lightly dust this over it. But I really need to set my T-zone well because of how large my pores are, because of the texture that I have. So with that being said, I do have my Huda Beauty powder here. This one's in the shade Pound Cake. I don't really like how this one looks on me, but when I went in to go purchase or replace Cupcake sold out. Like, it sold out everywhere. So Pound Cake it was, and it's really not as flattering on me as Cupcake is, but still does a really good job with smoothing out my pores and with the longevity of my makeup. So as far as blush, we're going to use the Blonzers from Bare Minerals. So this is a hybrid of a blush as well as a bronzer, depending on where you apply it. It has such a radiant finish that I do not even bother applying highlighter with this either. So to me, this is like a triple product. So I have the shades Kiss of Rose and Kiss of Copper. The other one available, I think, is Kiss of Pink. So I do want to add that to my collection. We will see. Top shade is Kiss of Rose, and then we have Kiss of Copper. Both are beautiful. You can see that it has a radiance. It's got some warmthness, so that's where you get a little bit of that bronzy type of look. It is just wonderful. It looks so nice applied. Also products that are super pigmented, so you do want to start off with a light hand. And I really like to apply this where I apply my bronzer mostly and then bring it in just some. I don't come into this area too much as I do with other bronzers, as I do with other blushes, because of the radiant finish. It will emphasize my texture. It will emphasize those pores that I just made sure to conceal. So I am going to avoid that area for the most part. I'll probably just very lightly sweep over it because I do also like to have it on the bridge of my nose. Really wherever the sun's going to hit to give me that sun-kissed glow. These are very beautifully provide. So I think today with the makeup that I have on, the eye makeup, I'm gonna go in with Kiss of Rose. Some of that up. I'm mostly going to start here, and I like to kind of also work it like into my eyeshadow as well as like right under the eyebrow. And I always mess up my eyebrows. And then bring it up here. So again, where the sun is just the highest points of your face, a lot of the times it's where we end up highlighting too. And it gives a really nice glow, some really nice color, some really nice warmthness. Literally everything that we want from a highlighter, bronzer, and blush. And then of course you can just use these as a blush. I've done so, but again, just kind of sticking more back here. And you can mix them up too if you have multiple shades, which no, I don't think I'm gonna do. I thought about it. I thought about it for a second there, but I don't think so. And then get the bridge of the nose here. Oh, okay, well, I got carried away there. I'm going with the sponge and just work this in. And whatever is left on the brush, just lightly go even under the eyes here. And finally, for the lips, I did pick up 3 of the new Maybelline vinyl lipsticks. I actually really like these. They're not as great as I expected them to be. Just based off of all the hype, I really got sucked into it, and I couldn't decide on a shade. There was actually a 4th shade that I was also interested in, but that one was sold out. But I think at this point I'm okay with these 3 that I have. So actually let me shake these up real quickly and show you guys a swatch of all of them. All right, so here we have Peachy, Cheeky, and Koi. All of these shades are actually really pretty. I actually find them to be quite wearable with a lot of the makeup looks that I personally create. As shiny as you see them here is pretty much as shiny as they apply on the lips. And that shine actually does stick around for quite some time, which is what I find most impressive about these lipsticks. So these are long wearing lipsticks. I'm not sure if the claim is 16 hours or something like that. I will say they are long lasting, but to an extent. Once I eat, I do notice it gets a little bit patchy, especially on the inner rim of my lips. But the good thing about these lipsticks is the formula is super thin, so you can actually go in and reapply without it clumping up or piling up like other long-lasting liquid lipsticks tend to get. So these are definitely much more reliable. I think they're much more user-friendly in that sense. They're fairly comfortable, also not as drying as you would expect from a long-lasting lipstick. So overall, they're good. They are nice. They have a really nice scent. I'm not sure if it's like a vanilla scent. Not exactly sure what's pulling through on here, but they smell quite nice. And once you apply it, you don't really get that scent bothering you too much if you are sensitive to scents. So today I think I'm gonna go in with Koi just to brighten up a little bit. Actually, let me see. I'm gonna apply Cheeky first, and then I'll go in with Koi over top, like mostly in the center, to add some brightness. So this is how the doe foot looks. And I will say I did not today, and my lips are a little chappy. I will say lipsticks like this, you want to make sure you exfoliate your lips prior to using. I am not taking my own advice today. This is a very nice, like everyday type of shade. It's a cool tone shade, but it looks really pretty. And I really like this doe foot. It makes it very easy to apply. Okay, now with a little bit of Koi. With how warm my face makeup is, I feel like this lipstick doesn't quite suit the makeup. Let me see, should I have done Peach? The lipsticks that I selected are both cool tone. So at least we got to see those in action. Let me try to remove this, and then I'm gonna apply Peach. Okay, I don't wanna go too hard with that because it's gonna hurt my lips. Okay, yeah, I think that is much better. This is the final look for today's tutorial. Again, using a lot of new makeup that has released so far this year. But we'll get one more of these, as I mentioned, because I do have the Wayne Goss foundation. I have his powder. I know I've demoed that before. I have the Rare Beauty bronzer stick. I also have a few eyeshadow palettes. I have the Natasha Denona Pastels palette. I did do a reels with that one, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna actually film with it here with you guys, at least in the near future. I have one of the new Dior Quints, and I also have the new Hindash palette, the one with like the pastel colors, which I of course forgot the name of. So I'll make sure to incorporate a few of those in that upcoming video, as well as whatever else I forgot to mention. But yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy the products that I used. Let me know what you think about these in the comments down below. As always, I appreciate your time for watching my videos. It means a ton to me. If you did enjoy this, please make sure to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, do not forget to subscribe so you do not miss out on any of my future videos. Thank you guys so much for spending some time with me today. Until next time.